Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Chris Worden.
Andy Jones-Wilkins.
And we are here back again to preview the next race in the Sonoran Desert Cup. This is going to be the McDowell Mountain Frenzy 25K. And joining us, as always, is the race director of the Sonoran Desert Cup, Aaron Barber. Aaron, welcome.
Good morning. Hi, Chris. Hi, AJW.
How's it going, Aaron?
Oh, excited for the weekend.
Let's jump right in. What's it look like for registrations?
We are just under 800 total for all distances. So with race day registrations, we'll probably break that 800 runner barrier. The biggest race is the 50K with 222, but there's 154 in the Sonoran Cup 25K right now.
800 registrants for the race this weekend. That's that's festival level in this sport.
Yeah, it's turning into a mini javelina with being in the same park and everything.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the cool things that that runners who are not familiar with this race will experience is the fact that the course itself does not traverse very much of the same dirt, like maybe just a few stretches here and there in some of the distances. However, it's the parking lot across the street, which was the setup area is what is affectionately known as premium parking.
Correct.
So they're actually starting from a different trailhead. Can you explain that trailhead area?
Yeah, so it's the comp lot. It's a lot of mountain bike trails. So generally the course is over there. Fast, flowy, a lot of washes. Some of the 10-mile loop gets a little rocky, but it's a lot. It's a mountain bike track. So there's some jumps and everything flows pretty well. So you should be able to keep the speed up.
All right, and I think the flavor of javelina. You know, anytime you just get to the McDowell Mountain Park, you kind of feel that vibe, and wow, that's a big number.
Yeah.
So it is going to be everything from a 50-mile all the way down to, what's the shortest distance?
5 mile.
A 5 mile.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah. So something for everyone, and I think it's going to be a great day out there. A beautiful December day.
Yeah, actually, what's funny is that the last couple of years being out at Frenzy, I'm out there every year because it's also lottery day, and we've had a lottery watch party there for the last couple of years, and so with everything going on, there's a lot of energy, a lot of buzz. But that race starts out cold.
Yeah.
In the very early part of the morning, I know that there will be heat lamps or potentially fire pits out there going because runners are going to be huddled around every bit of heat source they can find. Now, maybe by like 9, 10 a.m., they're going to be cooking and roasting out there because that also happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that race itself is known for being pretty chilly in the morning. So.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be I think a lot of fun, and we're going to live stream it.
Yeah,
we're going to, the first two races of the Sonoran Desert Cup, we didn't live stream. We did a pre-show and a post-show, but you got out there for the first one to do some interviews. But we're going to be on the ground live streaming for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of energy and maybe a little bit of chaos out there in terms of the energy levels. One of the things you mentioned actually in talking about the race roster. 222 people for the 50K?
Yeah, that's a race in itself right there, an event in itself right there. So
absolutely.
that'll be a big one.
Yeah, no, it's wild to see this kind of this kind of turnout. And one of the things that we'll probably do over the couple days as we do more race prep is kind of find out how many people, like, where are they coming from? I mean, because like they can't all be Arizona local.
Right. Oh yeah.
So, Bryce, if we can pop up my laptop real quick, we'll show some of the information on the race. Here we've got, of course, it's this weekend, 8 a.m. for the 25K, the distance 15.3 miles exactly. Total elevation gain. I'll be honest, I think that feels like it's underselling a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more, but it kind of rolls, so maybe the GPS doesn't pick it up entirely. But I ran the 25K maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I felt like it rolled a lot more than that. But
yeah, it has a couple like grindy type climbs, and then you get on the south side of the course, and there's the southeast side of the course, and there's some bigger washes that you have to kind of climb up and down.
Yeah, and also this being, as you mentioned, a bike course, it's a little bit rough on some of those, like, those bike rollers.
Definitely, like the long loop gets chunky out there.
Yeah, like you're, maybe up 3 feet, down 2 feet, up 1 foot. Like it definitely is the kind of race there where it can, as we mentioned off screen, that it can be hard to get into a rhythm. I mean, AJW, you've dabbled in a lot of mountain biking. Can you talk about what it's like to run on maybe some courses that might be normally set for mountain bikers?
It's annoying. I mean, not always annoying, but if you think of this course and especially out at the Estrellas, the Coldwater course, I mean, mountain bikers design a lot of their trails to pack as much trail into as little area as possible. So there's a lot of zigzags and swing back and forths. They find the places where there's nice little rollers and jumps and things like that. And maybe I'm overstating the annoying part, but it is tricky, even in a place like, the McDowell Mountain Park, where you really are used to, on the Pemberton Loop, for example, really being able to get in a rhythm. There's not a whole lot of getting in a rhythm. We're going to talk about the course in a second. Maybe around that back far side, you can get into a rhythm, but it's a lot of choppiness. And I think it's, that kind of makes it an intriguing race, especially something that's, 15 miles long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, you can see the current course records held by, in a women's case, a very prominent runner, Elsa McDonald, 152.48. And the men's course record, I have to admit, again, off the air, I asked, for those that aren't familiar, Aaron, who's Mike Popejoy?
He is a stud from Flagstaff. He's got some really prominent climbing records, or second to some guy named Jim Walmsley, stuff like that. But he's a fast runner. He's one of those Flagstaff guys that can just boogie, but he does a lot in the canyon, and that's a blazing fast time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that living here in the valley that we are prone to having drop-ins from Flagstaff. Literally
literally drop-ins. Yeah,
and they'll come in and they'll hammer it and take the podium and take whatever trophy they back up the hill. So that's just a fact of life when you're a local Phoenix runner. So we'll take a quick pivot here. I've got the Sonoran Desert Cup standings. This is covering the first two races in the series, Cave Creek Thriller and Pass Mountain. As you can see on the men's side, Julian Couillou, Cody Goodwin are tied for first, Kurt Houghton in third, Joe Boucher in fourth, Matt Walker in fifth, Devin Walker in sixth, Dan Roeder seventh, Matt Dorsey in eighth, and Matt Heacock and Hasey Andrew Lepine rounding out the top 10, both tied at ninth with 14 points apiece.
Important point on this, I think regular viewers might remember this, 2 of the 3 results count.
Yes.
Your 2 best results.
Yes.
And in this case, Julian is for sure coming on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Is Cody on the list?
Yep.
They're both on the list. So they're both running all 3. And they're both going to just take their 2 best.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm actually really excited to see them go head to head one more time, because they actually have flip-flopped their results.
Yeah. They have. Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, on the women's side, you've got Megan Kupris in first, Brittany Lump in second, Diana Sigrist in third, Allison McDonald in fourth, Devin Nyhill in fifth, Jackie Jacoby in sixth, Marcy Witzak in seventh, Victoria Uribe in eighth, Jen Stamp in ninth, and Lori Stillwell in 10th. Now, I know that on the women's side, Brittany Lump is going to be there, Diana Sigrist as well. And I believe that the next highest placed woman is going to be Lori Stillwell in 10th. So, we've just got a couple of women coming back for McDowell Mountain Frenzy for this race. But we can actually talk about who is in the field here, because I think on the women's side, we have a storyline that is becoming a bit of a common thing here at our races here on the Sonoran Desert Cup. And of course, last race at Pass Mountain, we had a local in Megan Kupris, the current series leader, leading or coming into the race and hoping to defend her home turf against Elsa McDonald, a world-class runner. And we're seeing that again in the women's race this time around, because of course, Nicole Hansen would be the local runner of favor in terms of, local results, has a lot of wins and course records at 50Ks, success at the 50-miler here last year. Yep. Set the course record in the 50-miler in a very stout race between Corinne Shalvoy, Ellie Pell, and herself.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And Amanda Basham.
Amanda Basham
dropping in from out of town, multiple-time top 5 runner at Western States, and just been on the circuit now for a decade or so. That's fun to see her on the list too. She's kind of, this race is Elsa McDonald, where she just sort of appeared, and I think she's definitely going to spice things up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Amanda Basham, it seems like in more recent years has turned her focus to some shorter mountain running type of races.
Yeah,
So.
she did all 3 of the Broken Arrow races back in June, and really crushed them. So yeah, she's it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So when did you find out that Amanda Basham was going to be in the field?
Not long ago.
So discuss that, Aaron, really quick. A little bit of a sidebar here. When you're directing these races, and you have your steady stream of registrants, as time goes on, but these races are also notorious for having high level runners probably drop in at the last minute. How often does that happen where you get that email like maybe a couple days prior to the race, like, hey, I want to get in, and it's probably maybe some former Western States top 10 finisher or somebody who is like won sky races elsewhere.
Yeah. Frequently, quite a bit. So people want to ask for entries and stuff, and we just kind of make a decision on what it's going to bring in or add to the race. As far as like, I have my emails off for Ultra Sign Up. Also, I get a confirmation for everyone and direct 15 events, and that would just fill up my inbox in a day. But Amanda, she didn't reach out, but I peruse the start list almost daily, so I can kind of see who's added and stuff. So she just appeared, which is great.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And the men's side, I feel like we've got a whole lot of familiar faces for those who have been following the Sonoran Desert Cup this weekend. At least that I could see, at least a half dozen guys that have acquitted themselves very well, like on this list. I mean, you've got Julian Couillou, Cody Goodwin, both returning to come back. I saw that Devin Sharps has dropped in, Matt Dorsey as well. So you've got half of the top 10 in the Sonoran Desert Cup standings that are coming in. And in the case of somebody like Julian or Cody, maybe there'll be a little bit of jockeying. It'll be very hard for them to improve upon their standings. They might be locked in here. But like somebody like Devin Sharps, who only has, who has 21 points based on one result, is going to jump significantly, assuming he has like a top 5 finish or something. So,
and I talked to Julian, and he was a little bit disappointed with that Pass Mountain. And there was I forget the gentleman's name, who came from Rhode Island out of nowhere and won the race at Pass Mountain. But both he and Cody were like, "Who's that guy?"
But that's part of the fun.
The mountain hotbed of Rhode Island.
No, Matthew Walker.
Matthew Walker. That's what it is. Yeah.
But that's one of the cool things about this cup is that in these cases you're going to have some runners who are going the standings are extremely volatile at this point.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. And yet after Saturday, the first half of the cup season is over, and those 10 folks on either side have punched their ticket to the dam run in April.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So
yeah.
Based on what we've seen, what do you know? Have you looked at the forecast, Aaron, to see what we're looking at here this year?
Too good to be true, almost. You talked about the cold. It looks pretty mild. Like for Fountain Hills, we're looking at like 43, 44 for the low. So that's about 10 degrees higher than normal because it's usually low, mid-30s for Frenzy. And then I think 73 and sunny for the high. So if there's no clouds, it could still get toasty. But I think by the time all these guys and gals are done with the 25K, they should be avoiding the heat of the day for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be a classic, Chris. Start with a puffy, finish with a T-shirt.
Yeah.
For us.
All right. We're going to do a quick shot of the course flyby here as well. So, Aaron, if you could kind of walk us through what the runners are going to experience here. So this is...
great shot.
Yeah, so the course is actually the 10-mile loop and then the 5-mile loop, just the actual, those 2 distance races. So they do come through the start-finish, but this is all a gradual uphill. They start going downhill here. This looks confusing, but it actually goes through a tunnel and a bridge.
It's kind of cool.
Cool, yeah.
So it's not like a big, huge intersection.
No, you don't literally run across one another. So
this is a climb here. It's all rolly, and then when you get to this section of the course heading south, this is where things are going to start to get chunky as you make your way through a lot of these bigger washes.
See, that's where you're seeing some of that annoying mountain bike stuff that I was referring to.
And then you make this corner and head east, and it's a decent little climb, kind of a longer one for this course, which is mostly flat. And then this whole way back, it's just wash. You're running perpendicular to where the water flows.
Yeah.
So it's just there's a bunch of them.
And you're along the road there too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You get to see, some of the
where
going
you
by.
can see the race headquarters from like 2 miles out. Then you'll come through the start finish, make your way up the same exact hill. This is like a really smooth trail, but gradual uphill.
And this is the 5 mile course.
This is the 5 mile course now. And then there'll be a critical turn right here. We'll have to take a left this time. Up, you kind of go around T-Bone Ridge first, make your way. You're going downhill right now. Then it's a gradual climb, and they'll make their way back up over T-Bone Ridge, which is short, but it's really steep. And right here is going to be going under that tunnel, and then really punchy climb.
That is a steep climb right there.
And then you get to fly down to the finish.
I'll tell you what, your course marking team has their work cut out for them.
I'll be out there tomorrow doing all the
course
inside
marking
the park.
team, i.e. Aaron.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a team of 5 tomorrow that we're going to be marking everything.
You got some tricky turns. And places where it's going back on themselves and so forth. I wanted to comment on the wash after wash after wash after wash. For people who are familiar with the Pemberton Loop at Javelina, it's kind of that middle section. Where where these are just even more frequent. I mean, you're just down and up, down and up, down and up. So it's the kind of place where, as you know, now they're finishing the first 10-mile loop. There's going to be some that could be an interesting sort of dynamic in how the race is playing out.
Yeah.
We got a quick question in the chat, and if you've got any questions while we're here for a few more minutes, feel free to drop them in. But from Nick Irvine in the chat, asking, will Coach Whip have liquid nutrition like Gnarly? I know it's said to be limited due to hiking in aid.
No, it will have water only.
Okay.
So it's just it'll be a table and 2 igloos or 3 igloos with just water. So that's just a quick water stop. The gate aid station will be the more substantial aid station.
And the gate is literally, you can see it here, right near the front gate of the park. Yeah.
Sean asking, and I might be able to help with this one too. For old, slow, first-time runners in these events, should I wear a hydro pack, bring water? It's only 5 miles. First-timer and pretty ignorant. Got to be done before kickoff, then coming back after ASU wins. So, Mike, as somebody who's run that 5-miler several times, I can tell you, you can get away without it, but just throw a half full pack on, because the second half of the 5-miler is much more difficult than the first.
Absolutely.
And you've got a really steep, it's a short climb, like it's maybe 1/8 of a mile, but it's like about a 250-foot punch right there, like right before you finish.
Not to pat myself on the back, but I won the 5 mile a couple years ago, and I was hiking up that climb.
Is that right? Okay. So
That last stretch of the 5-miler, so you actually climb up on the top of the ridge and you head immediately back down, and the downhill is actually pretty gnarly. Like when I ran it the last time, I was passing several people who were, kind of feeling very nervous heading down that hill. So I think I'll be honest, Sean, I think that it would be good just to be safe to bring some water with you. It wouldn't be too much trouble. You might not need it, but then again, it does get pretty warm pretty quickly. I know we say 73 degrees and it sounds pleasant, but if you know the desert, 73 can get real hot in a hurry.
Yep.
So
should also add too, this is a spectator-friendly course. With the runners coming through,
100% sure.
With the runners coming in the 15-miler coming through after 10 miles, nice big area to hang out in. The lotteries will be going on, so there'll be some sort of kind of excitement about that. But it's a fun. I mean, it's not like Burning Man in the desert like Javelina, but it definitely has that kind of fun, festive feel. Like a kind of a classic Aravaipa run.
Yeah. Food trucks.
Food trucks, coffee. As far as dirt series races go, it's definitely like the biggest race venue. I know we're partnering up with some vendors, so it'll be a nice little running expo out there as well.
Yeah, and also one of the things that you mentioned about it being spectator friendly, that final stretch of the race, the 5-mile, anyways, that loop, when they come down, you can actually see the runners coming down the hill. And part of the fun is, if you're familiar with a lot of the local runners or maybe somebody that you're looking for, you can pick them out like maybe 3/4 of a mile before they get there.
Yep.
And then you'll see them coming once they get down to the bottom of the big hill. They're visible, and then they're not, because they drop out into the wash. And then repeatedly they pop in and out. It's almost like groundhogs, popping in and out of the ground because they dip into so many washes. But yeah, it is a great spectator situation. I know that in years past, one of my it's actually my favorite from a spectator standpoint because the beer garden is literally as they're coming off of the course onto the finish. I don't know if that's changed this year.
Possibly changing. I think we
Okay.
actually gave the beer garden more of a view of you two.
Oh,
So they'll be adjacent to the finish line, but yeah. So I thought
so
it'd be
you're
fun
saying
to,
we actually have to like be presentable,
interact with
So-
people and stuff like that.
Oh, that's no problem.
That we can do. That we can do.
We'll talk to people, but of course, if you're interested, are they going to have? Is race day registration going to be available for this?
Absolutely. Yep.
Good.
We've got plenty of spots. We're not close to the cap from the park, so we can come on out.
Fantastic. So if you want to run the 5-miler or all the way up to the 50-miler, you can sign up on the day.
And I guess to wrap up our coverage of the 25K, who you got, Aaron, in the men's and women's races?
Well, she's probably going to hate me for picking her, but I'm going to go with Nicole Hansen on this one. I know she's kind of coming back right now, but that girl is competitive. So she's got the drive in her.
And-
I want to see Amanda win. She's an old friend of mine, and it's fun to see her drop into this. And, you never know. With Amanda, you never know.
Yeah.
Some days she's just going to hammer it, and it's going to go great. Other days, the wheels will fall off, and she'll be laughing about it 5 minutes later. So I'm pulling for Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think I'm going to have to agree with Aaron here. Nicole Hansen has proven on this course that she can really, have great success. I mean, beating Corinne Shelvoy and Ellie Pell head-to-head last year in the 50-miler was super impressive.
Yeah.
And she looks good when she's out on that trail. So I think that Nicole, if she is healthy, is going to have herself a heck of a day.
Yeah, she said she won't, but we ran 2 weeks ago with her, and she looked healthy enough. So.
Oh, then I'll take your word for it there. In the men's race, who you got, AJW?
I've got to think Julian. Julian is he's really into this. He's into the Sonoran Cup.
He loves it. He really does.
I mean, he plans on doing all 7 races, and then hopefully the 8th race. He's into it. I think he was a little bit disappointed with his race at Pass Mountain, so I think Julian's going to take it. But I think this Julian Cody back and forth. It's going to be a little bit back and forth. I think for the entire series.
Absolutely, Aaron.
I'm going to go with Cody on this one. I mean, I think you have 4 with Cody Goodwin, Julian, Devin Sharps, and Kyle Gallagher. Watch out for Kyle. He's got wheels. But Cody with a road running background, this course lends itself to that a little bit more with less technicality and not one huge climb or anything like that. So I think he's got the foot speed to do it.
I'm actually going to go with Devin Sharps on this
I was thinking.
because Devin showed up basically last second at Cave Creek Thriller and popped in at 3rd place.
Yeah.
And, he's a super stout runner and, part of the Aravaipa racing team knows the terrain here. And I feel like, Devin actually giving himself more than like 2 days of a decision time to run a race. I feel like he's going to have some success here. So I think my pick is Devin Sharps for this weekend. So I think that about does it for us.
I'm excited, Chris. We can get back together and do a live stream.
Absolutely.
Of a local Aravaipa race.
Yep.
I missed out on live streaming Javelina because I was running it, but this is going to be a lot of fun. I think I know when the whole Sonoran Cup was kind of hatched and we were talking, we weren't even sure we were going to be able to live stream, but in classic Aravaipa style, we're going to live stream. We'll figure it out, and here we are the Wednesday before the race, and it's figured out. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Aaron, I know you're going to be crazy busy there that day, but we might see if we can drag you by for a few minutes to see how the day's
swing
going.
by a little bit. We also I'm going to compile the awards the points on the spot when people finish. We have the stage and an awards presentation for the Sonoran Cup for the fall portion.
Sweet.
At 11:30 a.m.
Oh, that'll be great.
Also,
that'll be great.
Also, of course, as we know, the Western States and Hard Rock lotteries will be going on concurrently. Do we have those cool hats?
Yeah, I've got some. So
nice.
So
talk about those hats.
Yeah. So this was something that former race director Scott Trayer came up with a couple years ago. Was that because we had our watch party and everybody's always stoked about back in the day it was people huddled around my laptop,
right?
And nowadays it's like on the big screen out there, completely different experience. But in appreciation and recognition of those runners who were running an Aravaipa race on lottery morning rather than sitting at their computers. he created these hats that say "See you at States" or "Headed to Hard Rock," and they had the Aravaipa logo. And so we've had runners come off the course. Last year, Noel Kingston coming off and basically just working blue there for a few moments to let everybody know how excited he was that he was picked for Western States.
Angela Feldman the previous year.
Yeah,
she
like
was
in
out running
tears,
and her phone started exploding.
Yeah. Amanda with her finish, very emotional seeing her, being handed a hat and given a hug by Scott. And also, people milling about the court. I mean, we've had, Jamil was picked for Hard Rock last year while he was just kind of standing next to me. And I kind of just grabbed a hat and foisted it on him. Yes. But we've had other times where I remember, I can't remember her name. Her name was Lauren Merritt, maybe. But we were sitting in the beer garden watching, and we didn't know her name. And all of a sudden, she's like, "Wait a minute, what name did they say?" And she literally was sitting next to us when she got picked. So that's part of the magic of Frenzy, is that there's so much going on, so much energy, and that you're definitely going to have something to keep your attention while you're out there.
It's an exciting time too, because it just kind of marks the end of the season, if you will. I know we don't really have seasons in the sport anymore, but it kind of marks and then the holidays, and then we just look forward to. So those few people who are lucky enough to get picked in the lottery, they're just fired up, but this sort of hope springs eternal. It's kind of like, hey, it's just a couple weeks now and spring training starts, kind of thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to this weekend. I do have to admit that I'm really looking forward to seeing the lottery without a lot of vested interests. So we'll see you this weekend.
All right, and congratulations.
Thank
Time
you.
to train, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Congrats.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you this weekend. Take care, folks.